And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today, we just wanted to, let's try a short video. Let's see if I manage to do that. With the term Tinstaafl. What is Tinstaafl? If you haven't heard it before, make sure you put it in your brain and never ever let go of it, so that you can have an amazing, fantastic life. Because the people who don't understand this one will get hurt, will be disappointed, will struggle throughout their lives. That one is Tinstaafl. There is no such thing as a free lunch. There's no such thing as a free lunch. The earlier you can understand this one, that's what Tinstaafl is, you'll be blessed. Let's understand the long-term perspective. You want to become masculine. If you remain in your femininity, guess what kind of thinking you're going to have? These are my rights. This is what I deserve. I should be receiving free stuff. Someone should be taking care of me. That's your femininity speaking in terms of being a child. As you continuously grow up and you remain in your childhood, you're going to be feminine. You're going to expect that people should give you stuff for nothing, for simply being who you are. Women think like this, and they're supposed to think like this, so that the universe brings motivated masculine men to their presence in order to give them something for nothing. Have you noticed how that works? That femininity there? Masculinity, in order for us to get what we want, we have to work for it. We have to do hard work and smart work, right? Both of them are important. But for women, it's completely different. We want women to have a free lunch. Why? Why is that? Because the more burdened women become, that's the definition of masculinity for them. Burdened women, masculine women. Which ones are you most attracted to? Which ones are the best investment for your long-term perspective? You want feminine women, so they need to be unburdened, meaning they need to receive a free lunch. But you're not designed to provide for all women out there. You're designed to pay for, provide for, and protect your women. So we got a problem in society today because women, more and more, and continuously, very often, have voted for socialism. Right? They got the vote pretty much 100 years ago, 130 years ago, the suffrage movement. Now, there's nothing wrong with them receiving the vote, as long as they're put in the correct environment for their female nature. Right now, they're in a masculine world, and everyone's feminine and competitive. That's why there's so much fighting. That's why there's so much competition. That's why, like, competition between people that are not principle-based. Do you understand what I mean? We're trying to bring this world to become a masculine world so that us masculine men can compete in it. But the moment women come in there, men become distracted and very often unmotivated, while women struggle. But because they think that they need to compete with men the same way that we are competing with other men. Doesn't work very well, does it? And they're at a massive disadvantage. Not their fault. This is how it works. They've got their reproductive cycle that is very difficult for them to be consistent. Right? The thing is that women care, while men don't care so much. But they don't care so much consistently. Women care inconsistently in terms of only because of their capacity. If they have maxed out their capacity, they don't care. if their capacity, if they have massive capacity, they care. And they will care to the nth degree and do something and work and take responsibility and do this, that, and the other. Until they don't have capacity anymore, which is usually during their hardest time in their reproductive cycle, which is their periods and their PMSs. It's the other way around. Their PMSs and periods, because the PMS comes first, right? So they're at a massive disadvantage when men are motivated. Because men can be consistently motivated because their reproductive cycle is just not as intense as women's are. Right? So if men learn how to be consistent and learn to stop, wasting their sexual energy and wasting their energies on stuff of a destructive nature, they can be massively competitive, massively motivated. This is what's happened to the militaries all around the world. Women enter into it, suddenly it's not really a military anymore. It becomes a college dorm room. It becomes a party scene. For those of you being in the military, I just watched a video and I hadn't thought of it that way before, but of course, women enter the military, now the military gets destroyed. Gets destroyed in the sense of men are not excited anymore. Men are not competing against each other anymore. It's more of a party scene, competing for who can get women's attention, instead of competing to become the best soldiers that they can be in order for them to, yeah. This is the same thing in colleges, okay? Colleges are ruined now because they're mostly women. And now it's just a massive party scene. That's what the world is becoming. It's a problem. But the biggest Tinstaafl there is in terms of politics. And I was explaining in terms of the female vote. Women were designed by their nature to be provided for. To get free stuff. Because they're at their max capacity and they deserve it. That's their nature. So they vote for socialism. That's a problem. Because a lot of guys are feminine. And guess what happens when guys are feminine? They vote for socialism. Right? So over time, what's going to happen is that more and more people are going to vote for socialism. Naturally. Understand the woman, you'll understand the world. And that's what we're gravitating towards in the world. Everyone wants socialism. What's that going to do to the economy? What's that going to do to your tax levels? What's that going to do to your future? It's going to make it very difficult. Do you know where this originates from? It originates from lack of attraction. Okay? Because if men actually were attractive and set their own standards for 3 girls in love and not monogamy, and I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about in the future when you've got to set up your financial foundation, then the female vote would be a fantastic thing. Because in a 3 girls in love family, all the women will vote for the thing that the man votes for because he's wise. He's a good guy. And he knows what he's talking about. And we don't really want to have, this is the girls talking, we don't really want to have anything to do with the outside world in terms of politics and in terms of this, that, and the other. Because we know we're taken care of. Everything's wonderful with us. And we kind of want our guy to have as much money as possible because he's a good guy. And because he's a good guy, he can now use his money to invest in people, invest in business to make the world a better place. Women in 3 Girls in Love will understand to vote for freedom, which is libertarianism. There is no other party that promotes freedom. So in order for there to be heaven on earth, and for there to be no such thing as a free lunch for the main population in general, libertarianism has to be it. And we have to bring women voluntarily to vote for libertarianism. How do we do that? The only way, and it might take 200 years, who cares? It's necessary to create heaven on earth. Men need to vote for it, first of all, and then they need to become massively attractive, set up a massive financial foundation, and then believe in 3 Girls in Love. Because if they don't do that, women will continuously have the power in a monogamous relationship and vote for, you guessed it, socialism. And because lots of guys are feminine, they're going to vote socialism too, and that's where the world is heading. So if you understand this, what does that mean? You first have to understand in your brain that you will not vote for free stuff. Okay? In many ways, okay, you want to, like, I've been kind of torn, if I was an American, whether I should vote for Trump or whether I should vote for libertarianism, because the libertarian candidate is a woman. I was like, why would I don't want to vote for a woman, but I know libertarianism is, like, she's not going to become elected president. Like, we know that for sure, because the Libertarian Party is just so tiny, small, and no one votes for the Libertarian Party yet. So I've been kind of torn because, yes, it's important for Trump to win over Biden so that Biden doesn't, get in there. And this is a political channel, just so you know. Look at John Stossel and his YouTube videos. Because the last video he had was about what Biden is trying to bring in terms of free stuff. And then you've got Trump, which basically is a huge spender. But the question now with Trump is whether he is doing it because he wants there to be a massive collapse of the financial system so that he can end the Fed and bring America back to the gold standard. Who knows if he's doing that? If he's not doing that and massively just being a big spender, man, that's confusing. Because he said he was going to cut down government, but he's just made it massively bigger. But does he do that just so that he can become re-elected and get all of the people that want free stuff to vote for him? So it's kind of skewed what's going on there, but who knows? But personally, I'm leaning towards voting not for the woman, but simply voting for the Libertarian Party so that the next round they look at the potential and see, wow, they did get a lot of votes last time. Let's vote for it this time. Because over time, that's the only solution. There cannot be a two-party system in America. But eventually, who cares? Because America are they going to be a huge, mega world power in the future? If their dollar becomes worthless, because it will in the next few years, hyperinflation will kick in. Actually, hyperinflation has already kicked in. Because the definition of inflation is increase in money supply. They've been massively inflating that supply. So hyperinflation is already kicked in. But it's not become real in our society yet because the governments haven't really opened up the economy properly. Once they do open it, it's going to be very interesting to take a look at those events. Anyway, what I wanted to share with you, this video might become irrelevant in 6 months' time. But for you guys to just imprint in your brains, there's no such thing as a free lunch. I need to imagine in my own head as if there was no government. Just pay them what I owe them, but then live my life as if there's no government because I don't want to lean on my pension. I never want to lean on the government. If I lean on welfare or stimulus checks or unemployment checks, there's a problem with me. You're being feminine if you lean on that. Stop. Stop. In my adult life, I've never ever wanted to be on welfare. For a reason. I don't believe in it. Okay? Principle-based living is to stay as far away from free stuff as possible. You want win-win situations. And when you get a mentor, you shouldn't be getting free stuff. When you get a coach, when you are trying to figure out these, oh man, all these courses are so expensive online. Oh, all these coaches are so expensive. All of these, they don't have time for you because they've got more important things to do. You have no value to offer them yet, most probably, right? There is no such thing as a free lunch. You need to work for them for free in order to get their understanding and to progress faster on your journey. That's a good thing. Work for free. Learn to work for free. That's the fastest way toward success. The moment you want minimum wage, you have a problem. You're being feminine. Don't think like that. Don't think socialistically. Think capitalism. Think, I want to lead other people. I want to train other people. I want to create jobs. I want to become a big business owner. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Okay? There's tons of books I want you to read, but start with one and understand it. Read it 10 times if you have to. That's what I recommend. A few selection of books and read them 10 to 50 times each. Because then you will get it. Right? Tinstaafl. Get it in your brain. I'm fired up outside my mind. And let's look at some of the comments. Okay. What do you think about sex and semen retention? Okay. I think it is important, but overcome it and get a move on with life. Life is too short to not practice semen retention. Laugh out loud. Completely agree with Alejandro. Yeah, don't have sex. Watch my edging video, my latest edging video, The Ultimate Guide. And then you'll understand what I'm talking about there. To think our votes actually matter in politics is feminine. Yeah, I agree. In terms of left and right. Right? In Norway, it's the same thing. Your vote doesn't really matter right now. At all. Okay? And like you said, to believe that it matters is feminine. Absolutely. However, in the long term, how else do you think we're going to create political change? Because to stand on the sideline and say, oh, my vote is ridiculous. My vote doesn't matter. I'm just one person. Who cares? Blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't vote. That's being a fence sitter, and that's feminine. Well, what else are you going to do? How are you going to else be a freedom fighter? Are you going to basically say, I'm not going to pay taxes at all and go to prison? Right? That's being a freedom fighter, right? Because you don't want to build up government, so you don't want to pay taxes. Okay, good on you. That's one way of being a freedom fighter. It's not going to work right now, though. If we manage to get 50% of the population to not pay taxes at the same time, that's freedom fighting for real. But to have one person at a time not pay taxes, that doesn't work very well. Okay, and then you have the opposite option, violence. Oh, that's the option. Really? You're going to solve the problem with violence. That's not going to work either. Maybe if 50% did, but that wouldn't work either, because that would create civil war if everyone was using violence in order to fight for their freedom. Maybe that time will come. But until then, the best way for you to get freedom for the world is to vote libertarianism. There is nothing else, because they believe in reducing government's power over the people by 95%. They only want government. In terms of police, military, and judiciary system. That's it. They don't want to spend a dime on anything else. Right? So if we understand that, that's what we want long term. That's principle based. So to not vote and be a fence sitter is way more feminine than to believe that your vote doesn't matter. If that makes sense. So, hope you got something out of this. Remember, there is no such thing as a free lunch, and I'll see you in the next one.